down, down, down. What's up, everybody? You are tuned into season 2 of the Elks Call presented by Shotgun Sports. My name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine, aka Do You Even Elks?
And today we are joined by Toronto Argonauts public address announcer, Adam Gosse. Adam, thank you so much for joining us today, man.
It's an absolute pleasure. How you doing, guys? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. There was just a CFL game on. Apparently, we missed it by just a hair there. But how are you doing? We hear you guys have a bit of a heat wave out there in Ontario.
It's cooking, absolutely. Although I'm one of those dudes that complains all winter long about the weather, so I'm good with it. You know what? It's warm. By the way, congratulations and happy first day of summer because we made it. We're here.
I'll take it.
We made it.
I'll take it.
Summer solstice, longest day of the year, all that kind of stuff. So here we go.
As long as it starts looking like summer here, because we've had a whole lot of rain and not much sun. So if we can get a little bit of that heat wave over here, I would be okay with that.
At least it hasn't looked like Mordor. Forest fires have been down, which is a big improvement.
Good. We needed the rain, but we didn't need all the rain at once. So
maybe the farmers did. So Adam, we definitely appreciate having you on the show today, man. But before we dig into this show, we'd like to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. Whether you're watching on YouTube, which is Shotgun Sports Network, or Facebook or X at the Elks Herd, or if you're listening on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Edmonton Sports Talk, or wherever you get your podcasts. While we're here, if you could hit the like, subscribe, or favorite button, we would greatly appreciate it. Today's lineup for yet another Stack show is as follows. We're going to open up with the More You Didn't Know with Adam Gosse talking about his life in and out of the PA booth. Then we're going to dig into Kathy's Herd Report, talking about the latest Edmonton Elks news and transactions. Following that, we'll give you an Edmonton sports update, and then we'll cap the show with the fan forum, where we discuss hot topics surrounding the Elks, the CFL, and the sports world as a whole. Be sure to blow up the Herd chat so you can get your questions and comments onto the show. Let's kick it off with the More You Didn't Know, brought to you by the Winnipeg Terminal. Catch the flight with Mike and Joe every week, talking all things Jets and Bombers on Shotgun Sports Network. Wheels up. So in this segment, we're going to talk to Adam Gosse about his life in and out of the PA booth, his experience as a fan and as an employee of the Toronto Argonauts. Once again, get your comments and questions into the Herd chat so we can get them onto the show.
Yeah, we already have some on the show here with
Ginger Argo. Shout out Ginger Argo in the Herd chat already. Kind of inspiration a little bit for our show title today, which is Sogra Stories. Adam, we love to learn about how our guests got to this point in life. What led you to the PA booth for the Toronto Argonauts? Like, were you always a fan? Like, how did that all come to fruition?
Well, yeah. Actually, my road is a little unconventional because it started purely because I was a fan. In 2002, I responded to an advertisement in the newspaper looking for game day volunteers. I had some free time that season. I thought, you know what, this is a great way to get involved with this football team. I had been an Argonaut fan since 1991. I thought, let me get more connected with my football team. So, we had to talk about positions that we would prefer, whether we were on the field or behind the scenes or what have you. When they saw my resume, they noticed that I had a football pedigree. I grew up playing football, so I have a pretty intimate understanding of the game. A lot of us are just fans. A lot of people who have grew up watching football have not played the game, and that's obviously perfectly okay. But they took that pedigree and said, well, we need somebody with a football background to be the spotter. So I was immediately thrust into the role of spotter for the announcer at that time. His name was John Gonzo Mark of local radio fame here in Toronto. He was the first announcer that I worked with. He left and was replaced by Mark Chambers. Mark Chambers is arguably.
Nice. Okay.
There's the rain that you asked for.
I was just wondering whether it was on our side. I'm like, what is happening in my house? So
Check your windows.
Yeah, nice.
So Mark Chambers was one of the penultimate voiceover professional in this city. He was a sports broadcaster. He was a radio DJ. He worked at 1050 Chum Monday to Friday. He taught a broadcasting course at Humber College. He was the Argos PA announcer in the 1990s. This man was an absolute legend. So it was a real treat to work with Mark. Mark eventually fell ill of cancer in 2007. Mark was really generous about sharing his world, both personally and professionally. He wanted everybody to play in his sandbox. He was just such a lovable, warm guy. And he would always get me integrated on the mic, even though it was his job. He was the announcer. He was never shy of grabbing the microphone and saying, "Here, you get this one, give it a try." And I loved it. It was a little bit, scary at first, but I felt real comfortable. Fast forward to 2000, the winter of 2008. Well, actually, let me backtrack, because it is important to note that Mark's last football game ever was the 2007 Grey Cup in Toronto. So what a way to hang him up. He passed winter of 2008. The team approached me and said, "Hey, would you like to take the big seat?" I said, "Absolutely, it'd be a pleasure." So I only did the one full season in 2008 before my day job had to move me out to British Columbia. So I was in BC for 5 years. Came back in 2014, just became a fan, bought seasons tickets, banged the drum, painted the face, waved the flags. Before long, there was an opportunity again. The great Don Landry decided he had enough. He stepped aside, and the call came again. "Hey, we're looking for an announcer. Are you interested?" And away we go. So that was 2019. So this is my second tour of duty.
That's so cool. That is really
cool.
sweet. And we see you in the pictures. We see you out there with the fans as well. And it's really cool that the organization has embraced fans, right?
It looks like a fun job. Not gonna
it looks like you have fun.
Like a really fun time.
Look, don't tell the Argonauts, but I'd probably do it for free. I get to be one of the team's biggest cheerleaders. It's super cool. But I am a big believer in having passion at what you do. A lot of us do something because it's a means. We have to put food on the table, or we have to fill time. The Argos are really good about having people on board that love this football team. Some of the longest tenured employees of the Argos are also fans. Our equipment manager, Danny Webb, community ambassador, Jason Calero, one of our sales managers, Rob Richardson. These are people that you would see at an Argo game if they weren't working. They love the team and they love what they do. So and the team and MLSC allows me to have some liberties on the microphone. It's our home stadium. Why not have home field advantage? So I'm really grateful for that.
Totally.
No, you definitely do well at that, Adam. You definitely put it on there at BMO. We've gotten to see you do your job in person, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And that was at BMO.
Can this might be stretching it, but can I assume that you're going to be there this weekend?
We wish.
We wish.
Sad panda.
It's summer. There's other things happening here in the city that are keeping us in the city. And unfortunately, we do make a point of going back to Toronto every couple of years. So there is a point to go there next year.
Probably next summer, yeah.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Mike Hogan, and my apologies. Mike Hogan is, of course, our play-by-play, radio play-by-play announcer, one of the biggest Argo fans you'll ever meet. So, yeah, it's great to be surrounded by people who love the double blue. But I'm heartbroken that you won't be here in Toronto. Really hope to see you. Maybe I can sneak in a visit to the City of Champions later this season. We'll see.
Yes.
Later this season.
Yes.
That's what is it? I want to say the 25th.
October.
Is it October?
October 25th.
there you
Yes,
go.
October 25th.
See,
So
plenty
Good
of time to plan.
Good try. Good try.
So let's bring it back to your comment about the home field. BMO Field has a certain charm to it, of course. But as we know, the Argos have played in many stadiums over the years, including the Sky Dome and the Exhibition Stadium. So which one was your favorite and why?
That's a great question. The Sky Dome holds a lot of memories because, we won some championships there. 91, 96, 97, 2004, 2012. So for a lot of reasons that the Dome will still, always hold a piece of my heart. We never quite felt at home there. It was weird. I mean, it's a big venue. The lower bowl seating area is very, very shallow. So you're kind of removed from the action a bit. But I really enjoyed it. It was a climate control building. You never had to worry about the elements. Personally, I like the elements. So I think facility pound for, if I'm just racking up or stacking the facilities side by side, I'd have to pick BMO Field. It's an intimate environment. It's outdoors where the game was meant to be played. The acoustics are wonderful. You're right by the lake. The city skyline is in full view. I'd have to think we have the best setup at BMO. Exhibition was great, but that was, there was a baseball team there. Some of the sight lines were weird. It wasn't the coziest building to play in. But yeah, it had its own charm. It was also home to a very dubious era of Argo football where the team went winless for quite some time. So there's that.
We don't want to think about
happens to the best of us, doesn't
and
it?
I do remember that being a BMO and thinking how loud it got, right? Like you say, it's just the acoustics and just everybody just stomping around and cheering and just everything, just you hear everything, and it was pretty cool.
Well, I'm going to give Argo fans a lot of credit for that. Whether it's 12,000, 16,000, 20,000, Argo fans are passionate. They're very proud of this football team. They bring a lot of energy, a lot of noise. They're very smart and responsive. They know when to make noise and when not to. And they're loud. They make that place uncomfortable for a lot of visiting teams, which is just the way we want it.
So with how loud it can get, what was your favorite game to call? What has been your favorite game to call so far?
That would have to be the 2022 Eastern Final versus Montreal. Having a chance to go to the Grey Cup game is something you dream of. Mm-hmm. It was amazing to do that. But I will say, being a part of a record-setting season last year was really special. Even though we didn't achieve the ultimate goal, going undefeated at home, racking up 16 wins, there was just a real special buzz around this team last season, every home game. I hesitate to use the words guaranteed win, but the team had so much confidence that every time you walked into the stadium, you just felt like this team was unstoppable. The crowd brought a lot of energy. There was a lot of celebration. It was our 150th anniversary. Timing. What a year to have your 150th anniversary on a year where you go 16-2, or vice versa. What a year to go 16-2 on your 150th anniversary. So it was a real special season. So it wasn't one particular game, but I'm just really grateful to have been a part of that.
Oh, totally. That was a cool one. That was definitely a cool one to go, and just how proud everybody was of the team. It
Yeah.
It was really cool to see. But
Well,
we also
sorry, even that 150th, just saying, didn't mean to cut you off, but that 150th, even just going for that game, there's certain air in the building, special season, right? So it was a very special one last year.
Totally. And we also had the chance to meet you at the tailgate last year. What did you think of that experience that they're building down there? Have you been to more tailgates?
Yes, in fact, I try to make it a point of checking out the tailgate prior to every game. I've got a lot of friends, of course, who are out that way, so I really wanted to see them and say hi and enjoy the game. I also want to say a thank you to some of the fans I haven't met that are using the tailgate as a vehicle to enjoy Argos football. Tailgating is, and I think always will be, a part of the game day experience at a football game for many, not for all, but for many. And it's just so amazing to see what Argo fans have done there. As we know, there are some challenges with hosting a tailgate in Ontario, in Toronto, but our fans have done it respectfully and responsibly. My hat's off to them for wanting to build this thing organically, properly, and telling the people of Toronto and the GTA that yes, you can tailgate at BMO, if you play by the rules. You can have a lot of fun and celebrate the game we all love. Both Argo fans and visiting fans. I should give a shout out to, there's a lot of loyal Ticat fans that I know that make the trip, whether they're playing here or not. And Rider fans are always there. It doesn't matter who shows up. So,
never bet against Riders fans being in the crowd at any game, and sometimes even hockey games.
That's a rash you'll just never get. You'll never wash off. It's just. But yeah, so the tailgate experience is awesome. I love getting out there to see everybody, and I hope that it continues to grow.
No, it's from what we saw, right? It was cool to see Ginger Argo roll up with a full-on smoker, had flags. It was a really cool setup.
Yeah.
I do think we might hold the edge in size, but that being said, you guys have a lot more parking lot to work with.
That's what I was gonna say. You guys have 3 different parking lots that people can park at, so it just kind of spreads it out a little bit and makes it.
Yeah, there is a fair bit of land. I love that the passion that Elks fans have for their look. You guys throw one heck of a tailgate. It really is something that fans across the league talk about. I love going to Edmonton. It's one of the best road cities because of you guys. You're just such wonderful hosts. If there's one complaint I have, is that can we start it earlier?
Right.
Well, they did. They did this year.
It's 3 hours.
Now it's 3 hours before.
It's good. Nice.
I mean, we're not gonna do what some people that we know over there do and show up at 3 a.m. to start smoking, but we will get there. 3 hours. We're committed, but not that committed. Not there yet.
By the way, we love Ginger, and you can't have him, so don't ask.
Oh,
here he is in the herd chat.
So
8 hours,
always 8 hours before.
Oh, so good.
Oh my goodness.
But moving forward to the future here, the Elks and Argonauts are playing at BMO this Saturday, and there will be some expected fanfare, probably a Riders fan or two. But do the Argonauts have any alumni coming for this weekend, or is there any other events that you can mention besides just the tailgate?
Yes, absolutely. The shipyard is there's a social space directly north of the stadium. It's kind of within the stadium grounds, but not past the ticketed area. So you can go to the shipyard. I believe I got that right. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe it is a ticketed area, but the shipyard is a place where you can gather without, for those who don't have a car or don't feel like joining the tailgate. The shipyard offers something similar: food vendors, merchandise, live music. I believe our dance team frequents there, and that's usually a space they often feature alumni appearances to sign and pose for photos, things like that. I don't know who's going to be there on Saturday, but you can probably count on 1 or 2 players hanging out there. So that's a really nice alternative for Argo fans. Speaking of alumni, it's going to be a fun night on Saturday because, you know, one thing we haven't talked about, of course, there's a good handful of former Argos who are coming into town that we're looking forward to seeing. You know, McLeod Bethel Thompson, Curly Gittins Jr., Boris Beatty, obviously Chris Jones from years gone by. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to seeing some faces, and I imagine there's going to be maybe a couple tributes or a blanket tribute. Haven't seen what's in the story yet, but I'm sure we'll give them some flowers.
Yeah. Well, and this is MBT's first game in Toronto since he won the championship.
And I mean, with all those pickups, we were calling ourselves the Edmonton Argonauts.
You said it, yeah. You said it, yeah.
I mean, that is definitely one to see how the boys perform now. They're back in.
Well, yeah.
Hey, you guys got Jake Sarazna.
We're pretty thrilled. Jake is an absolute treat to watch. You guys were spoiled for those few years you had him, and I had a brief chat with him after game 1, our opening day, and he seems real excited to be in Toronto. So that makes me feel good.
No, totally. Like Chris Agar said in the Herd chat, we've got our hands full this weekend with Jake in Double Blue. So. Yeah, just a little bit disappointed that we lost him. He's definitely a good friend of the Herd as well. So Jake Sarazna, quality guy, fantastic player. He lays the sacks. So we miss him.
It'll be a good one. It'll be a good one to watch.
That man is just a vending machine with arms and legs.
He's a wall.
He runs you over, yes.
He's a wall. Whenever we see some of the newer guys coming in, you're like, no, you can't. You can't
replace Jake Sarazna.
So, no, you guys got lucky with that one. But hey, we got lucky as well with some of the pickups that we got. So
correct.
You know, it'll be a really good game. But Adam, obviously, the off season had a certain noise to it. But what do you think Cameron Dukes at quarterback so far?
I think if I'm being honest, I think Cameron has probably caught a lot of people by surprise, maybe even myself to a degree. I always believed in Cameron Dukes, but I think we'd all be fooling ourselves if we thought he would come flying out of the gate. As a second-year pro and a first-time starter, the learning curve is steep and success is usually not immediate. So I think we need to be cautious. And I think Cameron would probably tell you the same thing. Cameron is a student of football, always wanting to learn and grow. And I think he's got a fantastic approach to this season. He is grateful for the opportunity. He's humble and hungry. He knows that, he's got a lot to learn, but he's so excited to lead this team. Week 1, if week 1 has proved anything, if that's the way the season's going to be, we're going to be in fantastic shape. But the majority of us here in Double Blue Land are pretty. We have a level head too. We understand that it's an 18-game season, and one player does not a football team make. So we've got an all-world defensive line. We've got strong special teams, and there's a lot of playmakers top to bottom on this team. So he has a lot of support. He has a lot of confidence given to him by the coaching staff because, he's not alone in this, So the coaches are really giving him a lot of rope, which instills confidence and allows him to be comfortable in the pocket. So it's going to be fun to see him develop.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, he did get an elite year out of Chad Kelly. Mm-hmm. So it's, you have that kind of scenario, that eliteness rubs off on the backup, right? For whatever reason, starter can't play, backup comes in, runs the program, does perfectly fine. And, this is once again why MBT and Trey Ford are coupled up this year. Mm-hmm. Trey Ford needs that kind of development behind somebody like MBT, right? So, And I mean, Chad Kelly, he's I don't know if I would say as of last year, you are probably putting the title of elite on his head. So it's
without question. Yes, without question.
Totally, man. He's a good ball slanger.
I mean, if there was somebody to learn from,
yeah,
he certainly, I'm pretty sure he taught Cameron a whole bunch of things
easily,
and what he needed to prepare him, you know,
for a moment like this. Yes.
So that, you know, nobody saw it, but when it happened, and thankfully Cameron was prepared for it.
Well, Chad Kelly is, you know, one of the rare examples that I mentioned. How many quarterbacks in their first year as a starter have that level of success? More accurately, how many first-year starting quarterbacks are most outstanding players? So he had an unbelievable season, and you know, for Cameron and Brian Scott to be able to, you know, experience that from an arm's length is just invaluable. It also, you know, shout out to our offensive line. It doesn't hurt to play in what's arguably the best offensive line in the CFL. So that's gonna make any quarterback feel a little bit more comfortable about you know, slinging the ball. And Cameron Dukes can also move. You know, Kelly was sneaky deceptive too. He was quick. I think Cameron Dukes is more mobile. You know, he can take off and run when he sees fit, and that makes him a lethal weapon too.
We see it with Trey. Like, I feel like Trey Forward is in the position that Cameron was last year.
Pretty much.
Right. So it's going to be interesting seeing Cameron's development and how he does this season for sure.
And I like what Chris here in the Herd chat, Chris said here in the Herd chat, imagine if Dukes becomes so good here in the starter position when a pivot has chemistry with the receivers. Do you want to break that chemistry for the second half of the season? Chris said he doesn't know. So, you know, a little bit of quarterback controversy midway through the season. Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad. You never really want there to be a lack of competition at that spot, right?
Right.
There's a little bit of healthy competition. Also, it would now take a little bit for Chad Kelly to get back into that starter position, especially because Dukes doesn't deserve to have it taken away from him. So there potentially will be a little bit of quarterback controversy, and the Argos will benefit from it.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Look, good, strong quarterback play in this league benefits all of us. You know, there's only 9 starting positions. You know, they all need homes. The more high caliber quarterbacks we have in this league, the better for all of us, because we're going to get some entertaining football. And the Argos have done such a great job allowing the rest of the league to borrow our quarterbacks. If you're doing the math, half of the league's remaining 8 teams are former Argos. Mac, Cody Fajardo, Zach Halaros, and Trevor Harris. So you're welcome, CFL. You're welcome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Mac. Yeah. Sorry. No, it's that's actually funny. They've all ran through the Argos system at some point. And early on in their careers, I would say, or earlier on, MBT, not so much, but
it's like the Argos are the foster parents. You know, you raise them, you turn them into good players, and then let them go.
Look, I keep advocating for the league to allow 9 quarterbacks on a roster, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Only in training camp.
Yes.
So talking about Double Blue, that was a good voice crack. Talking about the Double Blue, I see that you're rocking that, you know, well, it's not even a vintage A. It's more like the 2010. Let's call it the 2010s A, right?
Great. You know what? People actually don't really point this out too much. I believe this is circa 2018.
2018,
maybe 2017, but this is my favorite polo because it fits well. It's actually I get real squirrely about fit, and if I find something that fits comfortably, the secret is I have quite a number of these. As soon as I do the work, I was like, I'm going to get a bunch, like 3 or 4 of these. So it's not the same one you see all the time.
No, but what I was going to ask is, if you could change anything with the current Toronto Argonauts uniform, and I know that's actually one of my favorite logos. If I could change something, I would probably throw that logo back on the uniforms. But what would you change on the Toronto Argonauts uniform, and why? The current uniform.
Well, first of all, big kudos to the marketing team and the design team. For the most part, I've been in love with all of the threads that they've rolled out for the past, 20 years at least. I would like to see the boat logo feature the brown football.
Yeah.
There we go. This way. I would like to see that brown, I think. Aside from that, eventually, obviously we've got the all Cambridge look right now. I don't know how long they're going to wear those. They might go back to something a little more traditional where Oxford is the primary color. I love our current unis. I don't know if I'd change much. I really wouldn't.
Just the brown football on the boat.
Yeah, I really would. I mean, the cool thing about having two primary colors and white is that you get all kinds of great uniform combinations. I know there's a big debate about monochrome versus contrast. Some people are fans of all one color top to bottom. I know players love it. Fans want to see a little bit more contrast. We get the best of both. Sometimes we'll see the team wear all Cambridge. Sometimes it's Oxford pants, Cambridge jerseys, white socks, Cambridge socks, Oxford socks. The only thing that doesn't change is the helmet. So it's great to mix it up.
How cool would it be to see the John Candy era Argos word mark on the helmet again?
Well, you're speaking to my heart, brother. 91 is kind of where my journey with this football team started. That's when I fell in love with, being an Argos fan. I don't know if you were paying attention, but we actually saw it 2 seasons ago?
Yes. Yeah.
We saw the A come back 2 seasons ago. The 2022 season, they wore 1 game. But yeah, aside from that, I don't know that it would work unless the whole thing came out.
Yeah.
If they rock the whole thing, and that would have to be some type of an anniversary of the 91 season, I'd be here for it. I'd be absolutely
real. That would be. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, my favorite uniforms in the entire league are the Toronto Argonauts uniforms.
Yeah, because
so
you're
nice.
you're a big teal fanatic.
They're
but
so nice.
I think in general,
we're recording this, right? That's on record.
I love the green and gold. I love the green and gold.
That's not a real. That's not a real. Well, no, but I think on Labor Day, matches, the match and then the rematch, everybody's rivalry matches.
Yeah,
I think everybody should have throwback uniforms for that weekend.
Love that idea. Where do I sign? Love that idea. But who decides? How do we decide what era the uniforms will be?
Yeah, see now, and I feel like people our age, we would be loving 90s. We would really want to see 90s, 80s type, right? Now you look at Saskatchewan. I think Saskatchewan, they bring theirs back all the way like 40, 50 years or something, 60 years or something like that on their Labor Day classic Banjo Bowl Part 1 uniforms. So, anything to see a good throwback. Once again, I liked what the Edmonton Elks did with that uniform. But I want to see that 91 Argos style come back in full uniform as well. So,
well, the NHL has a heritage line, right? They have
reverse retros, yeah.
Not that, but they have. Maybe they don't currently, but I know for a while you could buy a Blackhawks jersey, a Sabres jersey, or whatever, and it would have the same, NHL heritage lineup or something, and it would be a jersey from that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yes. I actually have a blue and white version of the same ones you're talking about, the CCM vintage.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, how cool would it be to pull up CFL.ca and go to the shop and buy a Birmingham Barracudas jersey? Like, it's
RoyalRetros.com. Use code Shotgun Sports for 10% off over at RoyalRetros.com, which does have the vintage CFL jerseys you are talking about, Adam. But further to the point, you are correct. The CFL could be capitalizing. Actually, our good friends over at the IFAF have a special line that they're releasing for this weekend, but getting
Royal Retros,
through Royal Retros. But
definitely check it out.
Like Mitchell and Ness, and like a lot of these throwback retro vintage companies, right? The CFL, that's once again a great marketing opportunity for the league.
People will buy it.
Can I assume that if the CFL is obviously involved, then they would have made obviously they would have had to sell that license.
I think that I want to say they might have, but I don't think the CFL did. I think it is on the same fundamentals as our good friend Reed Clark owning the Edmonton Trappers logo. I'm guessing that the rights ran out on it and they ended up buying the rights, but I do know they're legal. You should go check it out. They also have throwback styles that are replica. So obviously, it is a green and gold forever or whatever for the Double E style jersey. Mm-hmm. So some of that stuff is not exact to what they would do back in the day. But further to the point, the CFL could be cashing in on this.
Of course.
Yeah, we all want to see the league thrive and grow, and I'm sure they're always looking for additional revenue streams. I believe there's an appetite for merchandise amongst our fan bases, especially when it comes to retro merchandise, right? Everybody went to a first game somewhere, and it's usually that era that kind of sticks with us, right? Whether it's 80s, 90s, 70s, 2000s. It would be cool to have access to that type of merchandise on the regular.
Well, in the new era, turf traditions.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The turf traditions here, they sell out every single year.
Yeah.
When they come up with a new line of turf traditions, right? So
yeah. The vintage Double E, that people eat that up. Adam, where can we find you online?
All right, real simple. At Adam Gosse on Twitter /X.
Nice.
And on Instagram at AF Gosse.
And then what's your game prediction for Saturday?
Well, that's a great question. If we see the same version of the Argos we saw in week 1, I'm not sure it'll be close. We're mainly healthy. I think Flo Ormalade will be out and Davaris Daniels will be out, but we'll be getting DeMonte Coxey back. So my prediction would be 27-18 Argonauts.
I like it.
Reasonable.
We will talk about our prediction a little bit later on, Adam, because we are here to have a great time with you and not have any sort of argument or anything like that. But I mean, hey, we are definitely going to still, with good sportsmanship, wish your team the best. Adam, this was fantastic. We know that you're a busy guy, so we'll let you jump off here. But man, this was an absolute blast. We're going to have to have you back on the show. More importantly, man, we hope you have a lot of fun and hope you kill it up there in the PA booth at BMO Field for this Saturday's Elks versus Argos game.
Guys, thank you for having me. What a treat. Please continue to do what you do. The CFL needs this. You guys do a great service to the fan bases, not just at Edmonton, but across the league. So thank you. Hope to see you sometime this season. Have a blast.
Perfect. Well. Thank you so much. Have an awesome night, man. And we'll see you soon enough here in Edmonton or in Toronto, brother. Thanks a lot, man.
Right, guys. Ciao.
Maine. That was Adam Gosse, PA announcer for the Toronto Argonauts. Huge shout out to Adam for joining the show today.
Yeah, he's such a likable guy. He has fans all over, even in Edmonton.
Oh, he's fantastic. Exactly. Yeah.
Just the one thing that I did want to bring up, just because we do have people joining us from different platforms.
Yes.
So Chris, he had mentioned, he had made a comment, and then we have Ginger Argo here saying that Chris Sager is a closet Argo fan. So I didn't.
And then Chris Agar said the Shield logo is by far my favorite Argos logo. I completely agree, Chris. It is a beauty. What else did we have in there? I saw Nathan in the Herd chat talking about Riders fans being crazy because they're at every type of game, even at hockey games. There you go. They even show up to hockey games, crazies. Yes, yes. But we all have a Riders friend, unfortunately.
I don't. Oh, no, I do. I have family. Never mind.
You have family in Saskatchewan. What are you doing?
I forgot about them. Right?
That brings us to Chris Agar's comment of, Catherine, you are so fired.
He can't fire me. He's a closet Argos fan.
Okay, so we're gonna give Adam a huge shout out for joining the show today. Also, a big shout out to you, the watcher, viewer, listener. You're tuned into the Elks Call with the Elks Herd on Shotgun Sports Network. If you could go ahead and hit the thumbs up, give us a like and subscribe while we're at it, we would greatly appreciate the support. We're still going for a drive to 500 on YouTube. Still trying to give away that Double E signature jersey, 2016 signature jersey, 2016, I believe. Chris Agar in the Herd chat, you cannot see Gingy's comments because you guys are on two different platforms. This is the beauty of modern streaming. We can actually stream on three different platforms
at the same time.
Gucci with the Prada, with the Fendi, all at the same time. Next up, we got Kathy's Herd Report, where Kathy brings you the latest Elks news and transactions. The Herd Report is brought to you by Off the Reins podcast. The Birmingham Stallions have completed the 3-peat. And Ryan Messer had you covered for the journey. He still has you covered. Go find OTR every week on Shotgun Sports Network. Check it out, step by step, how the Birmingham Stallions pulled off the biggest USFL feat ever, and the biggest XFL feat, and the biggest UFL feat. They got the 3-peat. Ryan Messer on the lens, on the camera. We got to give a little applause here. Big applause. Really long season for him. He got it done. It was a huge media appearance every single time he hit the turf. So he captured some really great moments of a historical season for the Birmingham Stallions. So guys, once again, go check out Off the Reins. But Kathy, let's talk about our own herd.
Let's talk about the game. On Friday, June 14th, at the beautiful but rainy Commonwealth Stadium, the Edmonton Elks faced the defending Grey Cup champions, Montreal Alouettes, ending with a sad score of 23-20. Oh, I thought you were going to do a boo. There you go. That sounds way too cheery for it being a boo. But
they sound like they're trying to like boo out a pitcher or a guy struck out or something, you know.
Yeah, we won't use that one.
It's kind of dumpy, but anyways.
Let me start with this quote by our Q1 McLeod Bethel Thompson. He said, "We just can't turn the ball over like we did tonight and expect to win football games. I think there's 2 turnovers on our end and none on theirs. So that's the difference in the football game, and there is no moral victories. We gotta fix it." So right there and then, that tells you how that game went. Yeah. That's the end. No, just kidding. Let's get to, that's the recap. That's the recap of the game right there in that quote. I mean, he put it in a nice little bow for everybody to really understand.
It's a package. It's a nice little package. We can't turn the ball over. We can't give up the ball at these critical times. And that's seemed to be a theme, right?
Yes, and we weren't so sure how this game was going to go, especially when just 3 minutes into the game, MBT was sacked for a loss of 9 yards. But of course, the following drives were good enough to land us a 1 yard Dakota Pro Cup touchdown plunge and an extra point by Boris Speedy convert kick. So, I mean, it was that first quarter wasn't too bad. I mean, it was I was a little worried when I saw that sack at the beginning of the game. It was like, oh no, it's going to be one of those games for sure. But we kind of turned it around right by the end, and it turned into an exciting second quarter for sure.
It was also nice to see Prukop, you know, doing his thing at short yardage quarterback. That's why we picked him back up, and he's been welcome because those one and ones, 2 and 1s, and 3 and 1s. It's become a sore spot over the years. So having Dakota Prukop there.
We also had a little bit of that issue later on, but during the second quarter, we started the second quarter with down a field goal, but we recovered with a solid couple of drives and a 48-yard field goal response by Boris Speedy. Another sack, however, and that Fajardo, I'm going to call him that because I don't like him. Fajardo, 46-yard throw right into the hands of Walter Fletcher that allowed them to get a touchdown. So are we missing Walter?
We are missing Walter Fletcher. And what's funny about that is a lot of fans knew what we were losing when we decided to trade Walter Fletcher to the Montreal Alouettes. Now, remember, Fletcher had to play behind William Stanback. Fletcher played good enough that he took Stanback's role in a roundabout way. Stanback went to BC. Walter Fletcher is now Johnny on the spot, and he's crushing it.
Yeah, he sure did some damage during this game. But we did manage to close the quarter with another field goal by Boris Speedy, good from 48 yards. Again, so those were 2 good ones. During the second half, well, the third quarter was frustrating, that I'll tell you. I think this is the point where I personally started getting really frustrated by the way that Kevin Brown was being utilized. Right? So the O-line is not good enough to clear a path for him to rush right through the middle. So barely any yards were being covered. And, you know, it was so fast by the time that Jake Julian had to come up and, you know, punt it away. So there was a serious lack of run game.
Yeah, unfortunately, this O-line is once again a problem this year. Now, keep in mind, Brett Boyko is injured. Brett Boyko may be returning.
He's available.
So he is available for Saturday. So that's good. Sorry, I didn't keep up on the news today, but last I knew.
I will let you know.
Oh, look at that. Sorry, I'm trying to foreshadow here or spoil a surprise. But anyways, no, but yeah, you're right. Jake Julian comes back out, punts it away. The one thing I'm proud of is the fact that this was not a traditional 2023-2022 third quarter Elks.
We still went 0-0. I mean, nobody.
No, but 0-0 in comparison to some of the games we had to watch last year. Last year, the game would go done. Like all of a sudden, third quarter, you'd give the game away, and the fourth quarter is once again being extremely frustrated, right? And I remember that being a story last year on season 1 of the Elks Call.
Right.
So welcome to see. You know, we had some sacks in there. I want to say Kamdichi, I want to say, had a sack in the third, right? So there was positive signs in that third. Once again, it seemed like we could have won it.
It just seemed frustrating, right? Because, I mean, you see players as good as Kevin Brown that they're not going far because they don't have the support of the rest of the O-line that he's supposed to get. So why not utilize him in other ways, right? Instead of always trying to make that same play.
I agree.
And, you know, and why was Gino Lewis catching the short throws, right? We had a missed pass late to Dylan Mitchell for an interception. I feel like
Gino there was Lewis, a drop.
Yeah, and he was a drop, 100%. But I feel like maybe Gino Lewis should have been in that position instead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I do think that it would be smart to have Gino Lewis, obviously, on the longer routes, right? Have Gino Lewis and Kyron Moore. He was used, I want to say, more as a slot back, right? He wasn't necessarily used as a. So Geno Lewis should be out there doing those bigger plays. Now, at the same time, how are you dropping the ball at such a critical time? It's that was frustrating, and it's hard to say if the route maybe Dylan Mitchell was a bit slow on his route. Maybe it was a bit of an overthrow by MBT. I will say that there was some underthrows by MBT in this game. He had a bit of targeting issues. His accuracy was not there.
We saw a lot of receivers reaching for the ball. Right?
But why is that? The O-line crumbles, and he has to get rid of the ball. So the problems on offense right now, which are barely problems, but the problems that do exist as of last game, right? The problems were big enough to lose the game, unfortunately. But when you actually look at it, it's not as bad as it seems. The O-line is the root. You have the receivers, you have the quarterback, you have many great players out there. With Kevin Brown, could be calling some different plays to try to utilize him better. Try to run up and down the lines rather than across them, trying to go right through an O-line that's not going to make you a hole.
As much as he's small and mighty, I mean, he also has to rely on the O-line making a path for him to get through it, right?
Which we saw their defense.
He wasn't going anywhere beyond 2 to 3 to 4 yards every time.
Yeah, I want to say, though, rushing yards were around like 40.
Yeah. But I'm just thankful in that quarter that Montreal missed that field goal attempt. So going into the fourth, the Elks decided to go for that last push in hopes to turn it around. And we could have, really, if it hadn't been for that broke-up sack that resulted in a turnover on downs. And then, of course, that horrible interception at the Montreal 2-yard line. That was painful. That was painful to watch.
Had to watch that in slow motion in front of our eyes. Like, you saw the ball go up, and you watched where it was going, and you're like, and then you see two Montreal players.
Right there.
And Montreal...
coverage.
Double coverage was good. At the same time, that ball was underthrown. That ball was an underthrow. Yeah, the Prukop sack, frustrating. I think they were trying to do something a little bit too fancy on that push at third.
They might have.
And Montreal just went right over our O-line.
And they kept the momentum going, and they soon added points with another touchdown. So Edmonton had another strong drive in the late stages, and it paid off a little bit, this time with Prukov going in for short yardage once again. With 33 seconds remaining. And it took 3 times to get it done. It was one of those again that we're like, come on, guys, we're right there. It shouldn't take, going to the third and goal for us to actually get it done, right? So, I mean, there were some bad ones. I would say that for this entire game, that drop pass by Dylan Mitchell, that miscue on third and short in the fourth quarter, of course, and the miss pass late to Mitchell for an interception were our downfalls for this game for sure. I mean, there were some good things, as you mentioned. We got to see a lot of chemistry between Curly Gittins Jr. and MBT. They connected 9 times on 12.
Yeah.
So, Niles Morgan, he continues to rack up those tackles. He had 5 in this game alone. Hergen Mayala had another really good one. He catched 6 passes for 58 yards, plus 4 catches that moved the chains, of course. Moved them sticks.
Move those sticks.
Yeah, and Kim Dichi, as you say, he had his second
sack in as many games. Yeah.
So
well, and of course the D-line once again put on a great performance, right? It could have been a lot worse with the D-line. And when you take a look at both of these games, they do have strong running backs. Walter Fletcher, he's shifty. He found some holes. On the rushing plays, it is more than the line, obviously. You have your linebackers getting involved with those plays as well. But, I mean, there was positives. I do like what Chris Agar is saying here in the Herd chat. It is easy to point fingers and wonder if the team had an opportunity to upgrade the O-line rather than bring in a veteran quarterback. Don't get me wrong, I love MBT tutoring Trey, but was there an opportunity for the team to upgrade the line? Tough choice. I want to say our fan forum digs into this just a little bit more. So I will reserve I know that we've touched on this topic. We're going to reserve any more O-line comments for the fan forum, but yes, we will be digging into that. It does make you wonder.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it's like, well, yeah, we'll talk about it, but definitely a tough choice. Like, where's the priorities, right? But anyway, so that was the game. We do have some transactions. On June 16th, American defensive lineman Joe Jackson was released. And just a couple of days ago, June 18th, national wide receiver Frederick Antoine was signed, and national fullback Bruno Gosse was released.
Poor guy's just in and out of this
They're
roster.
not kidding, hey?
Making a game paycheck and then doesn't get to go to the next game, but maybe he'll be back. We'll see. We'll see. Well, I think we'll see him again.
For injuries, we do have Brett Boyko and Phil Grohovac. Grohovac? Am I saying it right?
He was a healthy scratch, but
no, they're back. They're
I think
available.
they're going to be in for the. I think they'll be in for the game.
Romeo McKnight is out with a calf injury, and Josiah Shackle out with an ankle injury. So, I mean, always unfortunate to see, but the guys are getting healthier. You know, some of those that were in the 6-game injured list are starting to train and come back. So, we'll see. The next home game will be on Sunday, July 14th at 5 p.m. It is Dino Day.
Yeah.
I forget what that means. Do you
they're doing so the one at home, Dino Day, is they are doing, I believe, a race with the inflatable dinosaur costumes on at halftime.
I mean, I want to see that. That's
yes, I do think a lot of people want to see that one. It's going to be a fun one. Dino Day looks cool. It was also featured.
Oh, and I think Drumheller has something. They're coming here to.
Well, I think they're giving away. That's the prize is 2 tickets to the dinosaur museum there in Drumheller. So
hey, listen, I'm going down to Lethbridge in August, so I wouldn't mind making a pit stop to see some dinos.
Jeez, so maybe you're going to be getting in that costume. So we have. That's the next home game. Is going to be on July 14th.
Yes.
At 5 o'clock.
Right. That's the next home game.
That's the next home game. Next game is this weekend. Yes. Elks versus Argonauts. 28-25. Elks over Argonauts. That's my prediction for this game. I think the Edmonton Elks can pull this one off. I think the defense is going to stand tall. It's going to be interesting. I think MBT is going to feel comfortable playing there. I think he's going to have a good game. I think he's going to go off. You got so many other former players as well. I think it's a feel-good story for the Edmonton Elks. They also can't afford to go 0-4.
Yeah.
They cannot afford to go 0-4.
He's comfortable on that field, too.
Very comfortable. BMO Field. Yeah, I mean, MBT should do fine in Toronto this weekend. And I think, Herjay Mayala, you have Boris Beattie, you have a couple of players from Toronto there. So it'll be a really fun one. I do think the Edmonton Elks are going to pull this one off. I think it's going to be a little bit of an upset. And I like the odds of this upset a lot more than Montreal. So
we'll see.
I don't have betting odds for you. Apparently, people have been betting really hard on the Edmonton Elks to win this one. So the money line is moved. Once again, unfortunately, I don't have the data on that, but we don't care about betting much on this show anyways, so it works perfect. That's it. That's a herd report. We're gonna move right along to your Edmonton sports update. Today's Edmonton Sports Update is brought to you by Herdies. Oh, last week we served you some thick on a stick, and we're not going to see you for a month. So make sure next Edmonton Elks home game on July 14th, you slide on down to the Edmonton Elks tailgate party, stall number 182. Get yourself some smoked sliders. So excited to slide in those sliders.
I feel like we should have
between those buns.
We should have brought dino nuggets.
Smoked Dino Nuggets will be next year's Dino Day, but we are sliding the smoke sliders between those vines. Stall 182, down at Herdy's, we smoke the meats. The IFAF U20 Football World Cup is starting today all the way through to June 30th. Catch some of the best junior players from around the world at Commonwealth Stadium. The first round of matches starting on Saturday at 11 a.m.
And Canada is going for a three-peat as well.
Team Canada is going for the three-peat. Mm-hmm. Check out Team Canada down at Commonwealth Stadium. Starting Saturday. This cat starting Saturday at 11 a.m. Your Edmonton Argonauts are visiting your Edmonton Elks are visiting the Toronto Argonauts Saturday night after losing last Friday's contest with the Montreal Alouettes. Kickoff is at 5 p.m. Mountain. The Edmonton Oilers are only 2 wins away from Lord Stanley's Cup. The Oilers play the Florida Panthers at home on Friday night, down 3-2 in the best-of-7 series. Puck drop is at 6 p.m. Mountain. In the CEBL, the 6-2 Edmonton Stingers are taking on the Ottawa Blackjacks tonight, and then the Calgary Surge on Sunday. Both games are at the Edmonton Expo Center. The Edmonton Riverhawks are on a BC road trip visiting Kamloops for 3 games in a row starting tomorrow. They return to Remax Field for a 3-game homestand on Tuesday. Be sure to catch Riverhawks and Stingers games live on Edmonton Sports Talk this season. And for more on the Edmonton sports scene, check out our weekly sports articles on shotgunsportsnetwork.ca, which features great local coverage by Len Nunes. We're the Elks Herd, and you're up to date. Luna wanted to press the applause button, apparently. Big shout out to you guys for supporting the network by clicking our affiliate links, which can be found in the description. We're a self-funded media company at Shotgun Sports Network, so we thank you for shopping with Shotgun. One that we talked about that Adam is going to apparently go investigate right now with the CFL, Royal Retros. Code Shotgun Sports for 10% off over at royalretros.com. Shotgun Sports, all caps, no spaces. Do you got the picture of the Warren Moon replica stuff?
I do. I just gotta find it. Here it is.
Boom. Fancy jersey, courtesy of Royal Retros. Obviously, it's I believe it's called like Green and Gold Forever or something like that. But I should actually get the official name for the show. But yeah, go check out Royal Retros. Like we said, very, very important. The IFAF World Juniors of Football is upon us, and they actually have a brand new line specifically for this event. They have a Vintage Canada jersey collection, so it's really, really cool. Go check out royalretros.com. They are the throwback kings. And then Fanatics, you guys know Fanatics. We got the link. There's always something on sale over at Fanatics. Shop online with Shotgun Sports Network and Fanatics by hitting the link. And then Lather Canadian Handmade Soap review. 4 months now. I still haven't gone through a bar of deodorant. I still haven't gone through one single bar of Lather deodorant. I go through the Lather soaps pretty darn often. I'm just about to crack into a new sandalwood bourbon. But here comes the weekly update on deodorant. Is it still going, Nathan? You got to know it is still going. Man, and like I even showed one of my coworkers the other day. I'm like, look at this thing. It doesn't end. They're like, why are you a crazy soap guy? Can you stop trying to hawk this soap on me? And I'm like, man, if you're going to buy the soap, Shotgun Sports 20 is the code for 20% off over at lather.com. Lather without the E. Smell damn good.
Yeah.
Smell damn good. I know you're thankful still, Catherine.
I am.
You're just, you're waiting for this deodorant
I'm still
to
waiting
end.
for the updates too. Every week I gotta find out. But before we move on to the fan forum, I did want to bring it back to the IFAF. Tickets are on now. You can go ahead and purchase tickets for either a single game, the Canada Pass that will allow you to purchase tickets for all the Canadian games, or an entire tournament pass, which allows you to go watch every single game. If you are interested, we do have a QR code here that I'm going to pop on the screen
No way.
for a minute that will give you 10% off your tickets if you're interested in purchasing some of those. So take a picture, scan that, do what you may, and we will be there. We will be doing some media coverage. So
Shotgun Sports Network will be on site, on location. We're going to be on the sidelines for this event covering Team Canada, Football Canada, that is, in partnership with Football Alberta. So very, very cool. Very, very exciting.
Yeah.
Go ahead, scan the QR code, and get yourself 10% off for some of these great passes down at the IFAF Commonwealth Stadium. IFAF U20 Football World Cup. Very, very exciting. We're going to be at a dinner for it tomorrow night. Oddly enough, what are the odds? The dinner is happening at a very unexpected time of the year when the Edmonton Oilers are also still in session. 2 wins away. Very exciting time for the city. So, yes, I believe we are going to be watching it. There will be TVs accommodating everybody's eyes. So.
Hopefully. Oh, you know what'd be so cool? Because obviously this is going to be dinner with a whole bunch of teams coming from all over the world. You know, we have Japan, Panama, Austria, Australia, Brazil. And if they're there and we're watching the game, and if the Edmonton Oilers win, and how crazy everything will go, and then a whole bunch of these international football players will get to see that. So.
Exactly. They're going to get drunk. They're going to play horribly.
19-year-old. Okay, yeah, no, they can.
It's 18 here in Alberta. So, but yeah, no, they're going to totally mess up against Canada. Part of the plan, strategy.
Plan.
Watch our Oilers. Enjoy our party. I guess we'll see you tomorrow,
Lose
right?
tomorrow.
I like the strategy. I like it. I like it. We might be onto something here. All right, guys, let's move right along. You are tuned in to the Elks Call with the Elks Herd here on Shotgun Sports Network. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, hit whatever button you can to support us. Also, make sure you guys make it down to the IFAF U20 World Cup. We're going to open up the fan forum. This is the final segment of the show. We are opening up the fan forum. Today's fan forum is brought to you by the Rouge, White, and Blue podcast. Americans talking Canadian football. Oz and Joe can now be seen on Shotgun Sports Network, bringing their audibles to your screens. Everyone's favorite point, white and blue. Speaking of which, we are in a massive CFL fantasy with a lot of notable CFL groups. I believe we're sucking right now. I think we're last in the league. Oz, though, from Rouge, White, and Blue is absolutely slaying it. So shout out to Oz. Joe's getting there. I am not. All right. So this is the fan forum where we discuss hot topics surrounding the Edmonton Elks, the CFL, and the sports world as a whole. We want you guys to get in on this conversation. So make sure you throw your comments into the herd chat, and we will do our best to get them onto the show. I think we already have one that we're going to be talking about here. The O-line. That's right. We did switch out the O-line question here. So that's I had forgotten, but we'll talk about it in the keys to the game.
Yeah.
So question number 1 here. The CFL will be adding augmentation to their TV broadcast starting this season. Is this a good move for the league? Will fans care to see the change?
What do you mean by augmentation?
Great question, Catherine. So augmentation, they're going to now have trackers, name bars, speed. They're going to have all of this information, just like when you watch on the NFL or you watch NHL. When you watch these other leagues, they have, graphics, a lot of graphics on the screen. They have a lot of graphics on the screen. That was good. But anyways, so basically it's going to be a lot more visually pleasing, right? You're going to be able to see a lot more stats on the fly. you're going to be able to get a lot more information as a fan, and live reporting too, right? It's going to be live stats and live data. So as opposed to, waiting a half a year or a half a season for stats to show up on CFL.ca
or ever.
or
really.
ever.
That's true.
But like, what do you think of that?
I don't know. I think that's going to be distracting.
Well, no, did you see the example video?
No.
Oh.
No, I wasn't prepared for this question.
Rather disappointing. Okay, but yeah, I mean, here, I'll bring it up right now so that you can see it.
No.
No, I got the volume turned down, but just so you have an example, because you don't know about it, and we're talking about it on the show.
I've seen some of the games, in the NFL, but
right.
I'm just trying to figure out whether that's going to be distracting or if it's going to be too much information going at once that you're not really watching the plays because you're too busy reading all these stats.
Well, Kitty close up in the herd chat. That's funny. Yeah, no, and I think it's also going to be one of those things that they mostly pull on replays.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Then you know what? I don't mind that. If that's going to be the case, that it's going to be on replays and not necessarily taking away from the game itself.
Well, have you seen, like, let's say the All-Star game, NHL All-Star game?
Yeah, I've seen that.
So remember how they did like the live? Right. They did live things. I think they did a glowing puck.
Listen, if it's not Nickelodeon gooey stuff, I don't want
it. Yes, you know what? That's a very valid
Nickelodeon
point.
NFL shows, they're fantastic.
Well, and that's honestly where I was going with this question. Where does the augmentation end, right?
Yeah.
Could we potentially see like a Treehouse? Oh, Treehouse is probably defunct now, but you have like a YTV. You have one of those other Canadian broadcasting children's companies get in on it, or maybe even Nickelodeon themselves or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you're gonna have stuff like that. So yeah, circles around players.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And this is mostly into the broadcast feed, so it could be on the replays, right? Like that time counter.
Yeah, replays would be cool. I don't know live during the game. I don't know if it would be distracting.
Well, and I think that based on, like, let's say the NHL, like, just like Nathan, what are we getting a glowing football here? I like when they did that with the All-Star game, I want to say it was when they had the glowing puck or whatever. It was actually rather distracting. If you want to play a video game, you pick up the controller and you turn on your PS4, right? If you want to see video game graphics, things like that. I don't think that a lot of this stuff should be specifically in game. I think a lot of it could be done on the replays. Give fans the information after they've gotten to watch it on their TVs.
And I mean, yeah, I'm just trying to think of the technicalities, the infrastructure. Did they all have trackers that just will automatically pop that information? Because otherwise you're waiting a tiny little bit of time to kind of fill that information in, right?
Well, yeah, for quarterback speed, and that's why they have the chips in the balls now.
Well,
so if the quarterback is running with the ball, then boom, you got your speed.
Unless you're a kicker or punter and you don't want it. That's a choice now.
Well, hey, and maybe that makes a really good point, though. Yeah. That might work against their augmentation plan, right? What if they want the live data from the kicked ball, but unfortunately Boris Beatty has decided he doesn't want to kick the chipped ball?
Yeah.
Well, now you don't have that information. So I mean, maybe they use a speed gun. Maybe they could use a speed gun and see how fast the ball is, right?
Yeah.
But that is a really good point. So
I don't know. I think it would be a little too distracting. Replays, 100%. Everybody would like to get a little bit more information right there and then. I mean, there's tons of people that love stats, right? That live on it. I mean, there's a lot of people that are on fantasy leagues that are based off stats. So I could see that some people are really going to love that. My only concern is that it's going to be too distracting.
Yeah.
But we'll see, I guess. We'll see what they do.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. I think that it's still a really good idea. It's going to be interesting to see. The other point I really wanted to make on this, though, is the CFL is so behind. The CFL is so freaking behind. Let's be real. And if NHL has had this for a while, NFL has had this for a while. I'm pretty sure NBA has had this. When you watch the NFL, they like do virtual things hanging from a roofless stadium. Like, and you're like, whoa, like, I always make the joke like, hey, they better get all this graphic stuff off of the field before the game starts, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, like really bad dad joke. Like, I don't even think you listen to me anymore when I pull that stuff. But I say it with everybody, even when I'm in front of a new crowd. I'm like, oh, how did they get that stuff on the field so fast, right? It's just a augmentation, the graphics and everything. So we're very, very behind. I understand that the league is not the richest, but come on, at least make it a modern experience. This does that. So thank you to the CFL for modernizing the product bit. Question number 2, though. Final question of the night. The Edmonton Elks face a tough opponent in the Toronto Argonauts. With so many great players and momentum in their sails, the Argonauts will be a hard team to beat. What are the keys to an Elks victory this Saturday?
Sticky gloves.
They only had one bad fumble. They only had one bad fumble.
No, that was the most horrible one.
Yeah.
Right? When you drop it when you're that close to,
Well, yeah, that was a drop. That was a drop, but yes.
That went right through. So
and he could have had it. It was a walk-in touchdown. I think the biggest key, like Chris mentioned earlier, offensive line. And Brett Boyko, him being back, that's good. Philip Grovac, no idea why he was on a healthy scratch. I'm pretty sure he played game 1, though. So he might have been healthy scratch to let somebody else have an opportunity. Didn't like it.
Yeah. No, but I agree. I feel like a lot of the mistakes that we've done can be remedied with a better O-line.
once again, this team is very repairable. The issues that they're having are very, very repairable.
And they're working.
A lot of this is coachable.
They're working on it too. I mean, one of the things that I noticed for sure going from not this one, the one before with the BC is the lack of penalties. We still had a couple, but nowhere near as many as we had.
The problem was the critical nature of the penalties. Big, like when you have a return touchdown, and it gets pulled back because one of your players made an illegal block or held or whatever. Forget what the exact penalty was at the time. And this is why I said, and fans were like, "What the heck? What do you mean penalties are an issue once again?" Well, when you take a penalty like that in a critical moment, and no team will ever be perfect. Well, sometimes they are. Sometimes they are on the sheet. I'll take it back. But it's very, very, very extremely rare that you find a team not getting a single penalty in a game. We understand that penalties are going to happen. They only had 4 penalties.
Yeah.
That's a great thing. Getting a penalty during a return touchdown.
Yeah, you don't want
negating a return touchdown.
You don't want that at all.
We're desperate for return touchdowns here in Edmonton. We don't see return touchdowns more than once every 10 years?
Well, between that and just coaching.
Well, a lot of that stuff is coaching, but digging it.
I mean, the one thing, the one play that it brings me back is to that return with Lucic Purefoy.
But the hit or
no,
the return?
And then he got caught right at the end in the end zone. So is that a coaching call, or he should have just not grabbed it and not gone for it?
You're talking about CJ Sims last year when he needed?
No. It was in the last game that we just ended up in a really bad field position because of the fact that he returned the ball when he perhaps should have just
right. Oh, okay. Right? I remember the play.
So we ended up all the way on their end zone. Like horrible field position. Right? Is that a coaching call? That's something that seems like so minor, but at the same time, if we just would have kicked it back, we would have been in a way better field position than all the way to their end zone, right? Yeah. And those are the tiny little things that could make the difference in a game. Because now that's 2 or 3 drives that you have to bring it back all the way.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of starting in the midfield. So
but it also depends on where that ball drops too, because if it drops before the end zone, no matter what, right? Like that's a point. That you don't want to give up a point.
No, of course.
But in that same breath, if it's a difference of 1 point to go up to the 35 or 40-yard marker, I forget exactly. I believe it's either the 35 or the 40. That's where you start back if you get a point. So, but either way, that or starting on your 2 or your 5, anywhere in that range in the coffin areas of the punt, anywhere within that first 10, you do not want to be.
Yeah.
So in a very situational way, do you want to give up the 1 point to get the better field position? Sometimes you do. So yes, you are right. It does become a coaching thing. I think coaching is obviously a major issue with this team still. I think defense looks semi-decent. I think they look good. I think the defense looks good.
They can do their thing.
I think the offense has so much potential. And then you have select members on special teams that are doing a good job. So special teams, yeah, a little bit of concern. Oh, we see John Kirby in the Herd chat. What up, John? Stinger, he's giving us the Stingers update. Stingers won 92-91 and are tied for first with Vancouver, and Team USA of the U20 Football World Cup was there. As you can tell, there's a ton of hype on this U20 World Cup. Yeah, we even saw Team Australia in the last tailgate, which is really cool. But anyways, getting back to this, yeah, I mean, the offensive line needs to give McLeod Bethel-Thompson time to work. You know, I like let's dig into Chris's question before we go here, because I really like Chris's comment there. It makes you wonder, could we have upgraded the O-line? Was there an opportunity to upgrade the O-line over spending almost $500,000 on McLeod Bethel-Thompson to train Trey Ford? Why didn't we do that last year? Why wouldn't you do that early on in Trey Ford's development? Now, Trey Ford had a broken wrist, or he had an arm injury for his first season.
And Cornelius, too. I mean,
but unfortunately, Cornelius is not an elite quarterback.
Yeah.
So they bet on Cornelius last year. They wasted another year of Trey's development, and now we're here. So what? You're going to go ahead and get MBT, who you're basically treating like a Tom Brady. When I say treat like Tom Brady, I mean you build that guy a pocket and you don't let the pocket break.
Yeah.
MBT is not a run and gun quarterback. Like, he can be, but that's not where his strength is. He's a pocket passer.
Well, and we started seeing it too, because now he wasn't taking any of those long throws because he was
worried about getting an interception.
He didn't have the confidence, and he was just doing those short throws.
Well, and it was also reads, right? So check down. You look down, you look way up here, and then you check down. And what do you see? You see guys in the short that you can pass to. Another problem was, they're obviously doing short passes when they need long yardage at the end of the game. But what is that an indicator of? Can't see the guys fast enough downfield. Pocket collapsing, need to make a play. At least we saw a throw or two out.
Yeah, that he threw them out.
He threw it out. Yeah. That's a lot better than throwing the interception, the intercept. But even on that last one, it was a slight underthrow. Dylan Mitchell, he tries to go back to get it, doesn't turn fast enough, double coverage, and
horrible.
It's once again, that's why they're doing this augmentation. Now fans actually get to see what's going on with this team a little bit better, rather than assuming, oh, well, MBT's not throwing the ball. No, the guy's trying to make a read. He can't make a read. The O-line looks eerily similar to last year.
Yeah.
I'll be the first one to say it.
And I kept all throughout, the off season when they started doing the training camps, the combine, and then the drafts and all of that, you kept wondering, right? Why are they keep picking up all these quarterbacks? They keep picking up all these defense guys. What is happening in our O-line? Are we saving the first draft pick for a superhero for O-line? Right,
linebacker. We ended up getting linebacker.
Exactly.
But and that's exactly what we were doing all off season. We're waiting for this O-line to get upgraded. So, with the D-line, they actually did the right thing. They threw paint at the wall when it comes to the D-line. They found a Kamdichi, which Kamdichi was kind of looking for. I think he might have been a negotiation list.
Yeah.
So
if there's somebody that comes close to Jake Surest in the way of size and how scary he is. Yeah.
But with the D-line, they actually did throw paint at the wall, and they wanted to see what stuck, and they found some good ones on the D-line. The D-line is developing. things apparently are going well there. Why can't our O-line get the same treatment?
Yeah.
Why is the O-line put into this predicament, right? And as soon as we get an injury or two, our O-line is
just
going to absolutely collapse?
Crumbles.
Come on.
I kept waiting all off season throughout, all of that happened with the draft and the combine and training camp. It's like, where's the upgrades? Where's the upgrades? What are we doing here? Why is nothing being done?
Well, and the O-line, that's it's like the heartbeat of the offense, right?
Mm-hmm.
The play starts with the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
So MBT, he's not a Trey Ford, nor should we be expecting Trey Ford type scrambles to win games.
No.
Because as we've seen, you can lose games pretty easily doing that as well. You need momentum, you need rhythm.
Well, he needs to have time to be able to read
You
properly.
need time.
He needs time to get that confidence and be able to throw properly so that he's not throwing the ball away or doing underthrows. The O-line needs to be there to allow players like Kevin Brown that are great at what they do to push through where they need to go. Right? So
yeah, it's a little bit frustrating, and I mean it's no slight to the guys that play on the team, right?
Not,
it's some of this stuff is coaching, plain and simple. Some of this is coaching, and it's interesting too listening to Canadian O-line guys and D-line guys talk about their movements and their steps, because once you actually listen to players talk about it, you do realize how complicated these spots are, and it's by no means are we saying, oh, it should be easy. You should be a player. Go get it done. I think we know how much work it takes on that field every single day for that team on the turf.
Definitely.
So we have the utmost respect for the players. We don't necessarily lambaste any of the players. It's nothing like that. We do recognize that there's a little bit of coaching. There may be some talent issues on the O-line, and they may need to get an upgrade or two as far as personnel, but once again, this could just be a coaching thing. Maybe you make a slight change. Maybe you do some installs in that department, and maybe they get it together, right? Maybe they get more chemistry. Maybe they get it together. There's a lot of what ifs behind this O-line and this team, but as far as everything I'm seeing right now, and honestly, as far as what fans are saying online, many fans are witnessing, a lot of fans believe that this O-line, just like Chris here, this O-line is the biggest root of the problem, and to me it's a bit of a repeat of last year.
Yeah,
it's you should not be putting your expensive quarterback in that position.
Yeah.
So what? He gets injured, and then we bring in Trey Ford. You once again, if he comes in earlier than expected, like let's say halfway
but
is.
Going back to Chris's question, if there was an either or, who would you have chosen? A better O-line or an MBT?
O-line.
Yeah.
O-line, because at least Trey Ford can drop back, or, I know he's a scramble. I know that he likes to scramble, but maybe he can actually drop back and make a play. Maybe he can survive in the pocket. Yeah. Why was Cornelius running around like Trey Ford? It goes right back to season 1 of the Elks call. Why was Trey Ford and Cornelius doing the same run? It's because the O-line keeps collapsing. Insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Sometimes in Edmonton, you feel a little bit crazy watching this team. And I don't mean this as a slight to, once again, the players, the organization. Unfortunately, this O-line looks very similar to last year's O-line, and we're starting to see the same things. It's Groundhog Day. The words Groundhog Day comes to mind as per one of our latest articles on Shotgun Sports Network. So we're gonna see what happens with this team.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some trades. We'll be here. MBT, I really hope he slays this weekend in Toronto. I really hope a lot of these guys on the Edmonton Elks have one of those feel-good games where for once they come into a stadium and they feel good, just like Trey Ford and Hamilton last year. This happens with players. So it's going to be very, very exciting. Saturday, we will be down at the U20 IFAF World Football Championships. It's going to be very exciting, guys. Team 1 and Team 2, Team Canada. They have a Team 1 and a Team 2. You can support all of the Canada games. I think they even have a Canada pack, right?
Yep.
They have a Canada pack. Catherine, can you please bring up that QR code once again?
If you guys are looking for a 10% discount.
10% off on tickets for the IFAF U20 World Cup. Go ahead and scan that with your phone. No, John, we are not going to the Red Bull Soapbox Derby. We will be covering Team Canada down at Commonwealth Stadium all day Saturday, and then it's a Wednesday, and then it's a Sunday. So we're going to be covering Team Canada from the sidelines. Stay tuned to Shotgun Sports Network and the Elks Herd for all of your Team Canada updates. We'll be doing basically live reporting from the sidelines as well as photography, interviews. We'll be bringing you as much media as we possibly can on Team Canada. So very, very exciting. Let's go ahead and close this fan forum.
Yeah.
Before we start talking O-line again. We're going to go ahead and close the fan forum. Everybody, thank you so much for getting in on that one. That was a fun one. John, we did see your comment. Chris Jones must go. You say you're sorry. That's okay, man. All opinion matters around here. We make sure everybody gets heard. So we've already closed the fan forum. We are going to shut down this stream. That's all the time we have for today, everybody. We'd like to thank Adam Gosse for joining us on the show today. That was a fun one. It's a great time talking football. For everybody that doesn't know, Sogra backwards is Argos. Argos backwards is Sogra. So that's why today was Sogra's stories. Oh, Chris Hagar here in the herd chat. I really want to see Trey on the field. Respectfully, if the offensive line was producing better, this is a likely very different team.
We said we weren't going to talk O-line anymore. Come on.
We have bringing up, that's the last comment of the night we're going to bring up on the show, but Chris Agar also started that whole conversation, so I wanted to finish it off with him as well. Yeah, I mean, Chris is right. It's one of those things where we will wait and see if they do get this one little but massive facet fix with this team. So yeah, guys, we're gonna go ahead and shut her down. Thanks again to everybody for tuning in to the show, whether you're watching tonight on YouTube, which is Shotgun Sports Network, X or Facebook, which is at the Elks Herd, or if you're listening on TuneIn, iHeart, Edmonton Sports Talk, or wherever you get your favorite podcatchers. We really appreciate you guys spending your time with us. So we'll be sure to do this again in a week. We have the BC watch party coming up, everybody. So we're going to do a first new type of episode kind of based on the CFL watch party, the CFL draft watch party that we ended up doing. We are going to watch a full half of the BC Lions game with you, do some live reactions, get your opinions in. It's going to be a little party. So bring a beverage, bring some chips, bring the laptop wherever you're going, or just open it up on your phone and get in on the herd chat. We're going to have fun with everybody. So next episode, BC Lions watch party. It's on a Thursday night. We're going to have a blast with you guys. Until then, my name is Scout, a.k.a. the Rev from Section X.
And I'm Catherine, a.k.a. 2Even Elks.
We are the Elks Herd. This was the Elks Call. We're going to see everybody on the next episode. Cheers, everybody.
Have a good night.